Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. I see miracles all around me. Stop and look around. It's all astounding. Water, fire, air and dirt. Fucking magnets. How do they work? And I don't want to talk to a scientist. Your motherfucker's lying and getting me pissed. My name's Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
My name's Guy Pigden. So who was that?
That was the fateful moment that ICP, the Insane Clown Posse, jumped the shark. That was the moment that they didn't just lose me, they lost a lot of people in that moment.
Well, they're quite... That's the thing, because they start off as kind of not very religious, and then at a certain point became quite religious.
Yeah. So no, well, like what happened was, apparently they were sort of believers the whole time, and basically they had this thing called the Dark Carnival, which was, every album they sort of released a bit more information about it and gave you some hints as to what it was, and the idea was that at the end of this series of albums, they were going to reveal sort of, their ideology and what it was all about, and they had all these millions of followers, hanging off their every word, the juggalos, they were sort of living this lifestyle, this us against the world ICP lifestyle, and then at the end of it all, they revealed that their ideology was God.
It was a bit of a letdown. I believe I read something on Wikipedia about it being a bit of a letdown. Yeah,
it was like, oh, you should believe in God. That's the answer. It could have been something great, It could have been this like, God's not real, but we all need to work together and let's try and be like, I don't know, something original, just something not God. And they did not do that.
Well, that's the problem with these hidden messages and secret things, and they always lead back to a human.
Yeah.
Trying to think up something.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like, well, okay, great, that's so good. But I'm a human too, so you probably came up with something of the equivalent of another human thing, and that was quite a shit. Conclusion.
Well, that was a real letdown because they were this, they were sort of an outspoken, violent sort of. Their lyrics were very violent and, aggressive and all that type of thing. And so it was just even more of a letdown, I guess, that God. That was the answer. And so those lyrics were from a song called Miracles, which were, by this stage, they'd already announced their religion. But basically that was when they really jumped the shark, because not only had they previously announced that they were religious, but they now were attacking scientists, because they're too ignorant to understand how a fucking magnet works.
They didn't really they didn't Google magnets.
No, so I was
literally did not Google magnets.
And do you know what's really ironic about it? Is the fucking idiot, he's singing into a microphone. Microphones work using magnets.
Oh, right.
That's how microphones work.
Yeah.
So, that's where they really lost me there.
Well, I've learned something new today.
You have?
Microphones use magnets.
They've
to
got
work.
magnets in them. Yeah, there you go.
Well, look, I've got a bit of info for you then. Before we get on our high horse too much.
Okay. What dumb thing did we say?
There are 196 countries in the world.
Right.
I guessed 56.
Yeah, but I
52 or 56 the other podcast, and then you did not correct me.
No, well, here's the thing. I freely admitted that I didn't know how many countries there were in the world, but I knew that you were wrong when you said 52 or 56, because I was like, nah, he's thinking about how many weeks are in a year. But I'll leave it.
Yeah, but you could have been at least like, no, I'm pretty sure there's hundreds, Guy. Had you known that, but you didn't.
No, but instead what I did was I dropped some truth on you about lines drawn in the sand and, segregation and division,
Right, well, I just didn't want to, just don't want people to think that we don't do our homework here.
No, well...
No, we didn't do our homework at school, which is how we got to that point of guessing that there was 52 countries in the world.
Just don't paint me with your shitty brush, bro.
I didn't know.
I didn't know, but I didn't think it was 52.
But you could have immediately come out and said that. Instead of saying, I don't know. You're like, look, I don't know, but there is definitely 100 more than you've just said.
Yeah, but I was thinking about my line about countries being nothing but a line drawn in the sand with a stick. That's what I was, that's where my mind was going.
All right.
Not in the correcting you angle.
So glad we've cleared that up. This is a filmmaking podcast.
And this is a podcast about our lives.
So what do you got? Before I jump into some of my stuff.
Oh, you go first.
All right. Well, one thing there was this. They announced that Facebook had cracked 1 billion people on Monday. On Monday, 1 billion people used Facebook.
I watched the video this morning,
which is 1 in 7 people on the world. Used Facebook. It's pretty fucking remarkable. Especially when you take into account, and this is, you go, 1 in 7, you go, that's massive, that's insane, that would happen. But then you go, well, yes, and take into account, there's like literally countries that don't have internet.
Yeah.
There is countries that do not have the fucking internet.
Yeah.
There is like segments, like large segments of India, etc., that they do not have this stuff.
Yeah.
This is not, China has banned Facebook, am I right?
Yeah.
But there is no Facebook in China.
And there's a billion people there.
There's a billion people there. And they're not even using it.
Yeah.
So if you even think about it, it's like actually literally like everyone on your street, every block, they all use it. They're all on it, and they were a contributor to that billion, except for one guy.
Except for
the
one
little man,
one backwards,
the rebel with a cause. Leading the crusade from the front.
Well, I'm going to call you out on that because they counted you in that billion. It doesn't matter that you recently deactivated your account because it's still an account that you can reactivate at any point. When they made that 1 billion, they were counting you. You were one of those.
I thought
billion.
they were saying actually it was people that used it that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. I don't know about that. I just thought they were saying there's a billion people on Facebook now, registered users or whatever.
Right. Well, we'll have to do some more research. We'll have to do some homework.
We will. We will, but we might not.
But yeah, my impression was that literally it surged up to 1 billion.
Yeah.
Normally it's under 1 billion. It surged up for the first time over 1 billion on Monday.
Right.
And I'm not on there, man. I'm a week clean. A week stone cold sober from Facebook, and my life hasn't been better. It has been better. My life has been much better, but that's not related to Facebook.
Have you noticed your productivity going up with regards to the filmmaking stuff?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So definitely I have because for me, Facebook, all the for the creative. The thing that you're fighting the most is procrastination, and you're fighting yourself really. The day, all the live long day is it's a battle. You versus you doing something versus you stopping yourself from doing something, because doing something is hard, because thinking of something is hard work, because coming up with a script or a line or a cut or whatever when you're doing something is really mentally taxing, whereas anything else you could be doing is not mentally taxing, really, and you can also hide procrastination in the guise of something else, like, well, I was reading a really important thing that has now I'm smarter and now I can apply that to my work, or I was watching a great film and that film gave me a lot of ideas for some camera angles and story beats and structure, and that was actually really helpful. I needed to watch that. Look, I needed to watch that 5-minute RedTube clip because now I know about new positions and so I can understand, I can write with greater complexity from watching the RedTube. And so you get into those things, and for me the big one, because the easiest one is Facebook.
Yeah.
Straight on Facebook, straight on the feed.
Yeah, but Facebook is it's difficult to disguise Facebook as something productive, like watching something or reading something. Okay, sure. But like Facebook.
Oh, there's no way to disguise it.
Yeah. Well, the only way you can be productive on Facebook, aside from, reading random articles, which can, I guess, contribute to your overall intelligence, the only way is really to be promoting. Like if you're there yelling about stuff and sharing things and commenting on things with the intention of getting people back to your page, then I'd consider that productive.
Well, that's how you class your
operate. That's how I justify my hours spent on Facebook.
Thousands of hours on Facebook.
Thousands of hours of my life, which I'm not getting back.
Yeah.
Could be going for a walk outside. When I'm an 80-year-old man and can't walk, I'll be like, man, when I was 30, I could have been going for walks. I should have been walking through the mountains, man.
I was just looking at Facebook.
Looking at Facebook all day. Whacking off about my friends.
Yeah.
All day.
Oh, goddamn day.
All
Just
day.
whack it off. Why did I do so much whacking off back then? So many other things I could be enjoying. But why? Why always a whacking off?
So unproductive.
Yeah, but on the same token, you might at 80 be like, God, I miss whacking off. I remember when I used to whack off at 30. I was just whacking off all over the place.
So I'd just shut the curtains, close the door, and spend the whole day whacking up.
God, those were the days.
There were all these other suckers out there going for walks in the mountains. They didn't know what they were missing out on. They should have been inside whacking off.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like that that guy in Happy Gilmore who grabs that little kid's face. And so like there's this fat guy in Happy Gilmore. I think it's Happy Gilmore, might be Billy Madison, and he's like, I'm really liking school, and I think that's how it goes. And then Adam Sandler grabs him by his face. He's like, cherish every minute, every minute. He's just grabbing his face and smushing this fat guy's face,
right?
Because he knows that the fat guy's about to get mercilessly picked on,
right,
for being fat,
right?
And that's what you'll do at 80 to a 30-year-old who's like, yeah, God, I'm just bored of masturbating. Yeah. Long-winded story. To get to that, I'm saying, are you familiar with either Happy Gilmore or
possibly Billy Madison,
and then kind of misquoting what actually happens in the film,
kind of approximating it and sort of making it relevant to the wanking story? But that's cool. That's what we're here for.
But no, I'm off Facebook. I'm feeling good, and I will even say I think it's helped to my relationship.
Yeah,
because now I never really, I used to check my phone a lot. And I might be checking my text, I might be checking for, or Facebook. But, if there was a kind of a lull or a dull moment, I might get out the old phone, have a look on it. Now I just don't even touch my phone. Phone just stays there in a heap somewhere, never to be opened. Unless I get a message.
I don't really check Facebook too much when the girlfriend's around. Anyway, I don't really reckon. Is that
true?
Yeah, I reckon it's true.
Will she verify that?
She won't. She hates how much I Facebook. She definitely won't verify
she won't, the bitch. She's always undermining me.
She definitely won't verify that. She will say that I'm always on it. But it's not true. It's not, and it's a point of. It's a sore point.
It's a point of contention.
It's a point of contention. Jeez. So, yes, anyway, I don't think I go on it too much, in person when I'm hanging out with somebody, because it always kind of pisses me off when I see, when I'm hanging out with someone and then they go on their phone. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like,
you go, and now am I going to
do that while you're taking a shit, man?
And am I going to now go on my phone to match you going on your phone?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and watch you on yours, am I?
Is this a phone off?
Yeah, because let me tell you, I can phone longer and harder than you can, man. I'll phone all day.
I've got so many notifications to get through.
I do.
So many.
I do.
I mean, you wouldn't even believe how many people I've got a message back right now. Yeah. But I'm not doing it.
Well, sometimes it stresses me out a little. I've got all these things I'm supposed to be doing, all these things I've got to do on Facebook that's just little things like for example, this ties in nicely, was, I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but a while back, NZ Pork used my image for a viral video that they put online, and it was the image of me half hairy. So I've shaved half of my hairy body, half of my beard, and half of my head, what's left of my head here, and left one side really hairy, one side completely bald. And I put it on the internet, and it got shared around a lot on heaps of different websites. And then NZ Pork found it and decided to use it. Well, they hired an ad agency, and this ad agency, who was contracted to make them a viral video, used my image without asking me, and they used it as the thumbnail of the image, and it went on to get 250,000 views.
Yeah,
and presumably sell some pork.
Yeah, a lot of pork.
Make some money.
Yep.
Yeah, and so the point behind that was
you contacted them.
I did contact them. That was
outraged.
That's not where I was going to go with it, but yes, I contacted them and placated me. Oh no, yes. So this is what it was to do with Facebook, which is, I was stressing out because basically I contacted them and I said, here's what I need. I need like a credit in the description of the video, and I need you to do a post on your page, which has like 26,000 likes, saying that the half hairy guy from our video is a New Zealand filmmaker called Harley, and here you can see the original image. Yeah. And then, so they did that, and they did it as a promoted post, which is even better. So they're paying to promote my image on their Facebook page, which is great. But so I was a bit concerned because I really needed to find the time to go and like post the trailer to I Survived a Zombie Holocaust as a comment underneath and say, hey guys, I'm the guy in this thing, and you can see the trailer here and you can buy it in the description. Yeah. And so there was like that, and there was just things like that. It's like actually kind of important stuff that I really should do on Facebook that I kind of just sometimes don't get around to. Get a little stressed about it.
Yeah, it's good because, to be honest, sometimes that stuff stressed me out as well. Where I was like, I should do a post about this relating to the zombie film on Facebook. Like, I need to do something that promotes a thing, or I've got this image, I should really use it. And now I don't have any of those stresses.
Yeah.
The film remains unpromoted.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's really good. The grass is greener, the sky is bluer. It's just, I'm telling you guys, you might want to get on the bandwagon.
Just unplug, guys.
Just get out of it.
I watched recently Transcendence.
Oh yeah, did you like it?
I did actually. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
It was a little bit dry.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool idea. It just got a little bit dry there at the end.
Transcendence is the Johnny Depp film where he uploads his mind to a computer and then sort of becomes a supercomputer of a super AI kind of. Yeah. And it was, I wasn't expecting much because I'd heard bad things. But tell you what, I actually enjoyed it quite a lot.
I didn't mind it. I guess I think the issue was like, why, if you're going to be a supercomputer Johnny Depp?
Well, you're not going to give any. You can't do any spoilers.
Why we can't give any spoilers to a 2-year-old film?
No, but I don't. Like people out there, if they haven't seen it,
you just go skip 5 minutes forward.
5 minutes, they're going to miss some gold.
But I'm not really giving any spoilers. But like, why, if you're going to be a super AI computer with the personality of Johnny Depp, right? Are you going to be like this monotone kind of menacing presence? Like, why not just be a normal, like, really funny, jokey guy? And everyone goes, oh, you know what? You're a supercomputer, but you put me at ease with your personality. It's really put me at ease. But he's like, yes, I'm a computer. I'm definitely not doing anything dangerous, so you don't need to worry. Yeah. And that was the only thing that I thought was a bit much.
Well, you better call Johnny out on his performance next time you see him.
I'll have a word with
Johnny,
him.
I appreciate you working Pirates.
Yep.
You were great in 21 Jump Street, but Transcendence.
Old reference, 21 Jump Street?
Yeah, it was the only other one that came to my head.
Of all the Johnny Depp films that he's ever done,
that was it.
Edward Scissorhands.
Nah, never.
Edward. Fucking Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Didn't watch that one.
Sleepy Hollow.
The Secret Window.
The Ninth Gate. Crybaby. None of that.
No.
Just 21 Jump Street. You know him from two things. Yeah. His most famous role and his very first thing that made him famous.
Yeah. Now, unrelated to that, sort of just harking back to finish off that NZ Pork thing, they sent me a
pork pack.
A gift pack to placate me.
Yeah.
Now, so what it is it's a hamper from Nosh, which is like a fancy hipster sort of organic shop in Ponsonby. And it's amazing. It's got it's got a big pork loin and a big pork belly and heaps of like fancy condiments that all go on it. It's probably worth like $150 or something.
Yeah.
Or possibly more, I guess. And it's really good. But I can smell fear, man. I can smell fear on their behalf. Like they're like, oh yes, sir, we'll do that post for you, and we'll even promote it, and we'll edit this, and we'll give you this hamper which you didn't even ask for. And I did a little bit more research, and you might recall, I remember hearing about this. Mike King, the comedian, he was the face of NZ Pork for 7 years,
right? And
then SAFE, which is like an animal rights group, got hold of him and took him to a farm and showed him the condition that the pigs live in. Right. And he...
The New Zealand pork pigs.
Yeah, the New Zealand pork pigs. So basically pork farmed in New Zealand, like there are varying degrees of cruelty. Some of them are a lot nicer than others, but they're all under the banner of NZ Pork.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Mike King went and he saw some of the conditions, and then he turned on a dime and became he spoke out against them. So he went from being the face of NZ Pork to speaking out publicly against NZ Pork, and it was a big PR disaster for them.
What's your take on that? Because, like, on the one hand, that's good, that's commendable.
Yeah. On the other hand, surely, why do you take 7 years of paychecks?
Well, I guess that's the thing, is like if you're being the true blue guy would give all that money back, right?
Oh, but you don't have 7 years worth of money to give back.
Well, I'm just saying he would have.
He's a New Zealand
man of principle.
Nah, he's a New Zealand comedian, man. That money has gone on his house, and I mean, I personally, I wouldn't give the money back. I'm not giving that fucking hamper back.
Well, then is it hypocritical then to, like, I guess it depends on the level of disassociation, because can you really badmouth someone that's put a house over your head for 7 years?
Well, I think you can. I think that
we're just waiting for you to speak out about zombie holocaust. You'll be like, that film was actually shit.
No. I think that you can speak out and. You don't have to give. If you work for Coca-Cola or McDonald's or something, you don't have to give them money back just because you disagree with what they do and then turn around and become a campaigner against them. It's just the way it is. But I do think perhaps Mike King didn't need to take 7 years to figure out that the New Zealand pork industry was cruel. But I guess the fact of the matter is that it came to a point where it was undeniable what he was a part of and what he was promoting, and he had a decision to make, and basically that the choice was right or wrong, and he chose right. So hats off to you, Mike. Yeah. But so anyway, I reckon that's why NZ Pork's a little bit worried about this thing, because there I am, I'm the thumbnail on this viral video, and now if I were to kick up a thing to take it to the news, and it could be kind of a follow-up, sort of a second disaster for them. Obviously to a lesser extent, but.
Well, was it taking a big gamble using your image in the first place?
Yeah, well, they didn't. They just found my image on the internet, not realizing that I was a Kiwi. I think that's what they did. Like, they were like, oh, well, who cares? Like, only Kiwis are going to be seeing this. We'll just take this image from the internet. And I spoke to the fella on the phone, and he told me they did try and get a hold of. His voice was fucking quivering, like
trembling,
shaking, trembling, quavering. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, he said that they did try and get a hold of all of the different, people that owned the images, but, some of them they couldn't get a hold of. But, it's just really bad luck for him that I happen to be a New Zealander and that it fucking popped up on my news feed. As a sponsored post. Wait a minute, because it's kind of.
Well, they didn't try that hard then, did they?
Well, I guess honestly, not.
I mean, some like probably 2 seconds of Googling would have brought that your name is Harley Neville.
Yeah,
and that image is attributed to Harley Neville.
It is true, because there's this gay website where it's on there, and it's called like, and they credit me in the bottom of it, so it says like Harley Neville. So if you Google Harley Neville, that's one of the images that comes up, right? And at least that hairy one. But I'm pretty sure if you Googled half hairy man, a whole bunch of them would pop
Harley
up.
Neville.
And at some point, especially because I've commented on a whole bunch of them saying like, You know, like the images popped up on BuzzFeed and stuff, posted by other people, and I've commented, "Hi guys, I'm the guy in the image. Come follow me on Facebook, or check out my YouTube channel or whatever." So yeah, you're right. He definitely didn't try that hard.
Also, I'm pretty sure, and this is just going from sort of the film and television thing, is like you cannot do that. You have to have permission from every single one of those people, or permission from their estate or whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it cannot be like you could do it as a free thing that you made on that. Like we make free things, but this is a thing that they were paid for
from an ad agency
that would then, also being paid to do, that would also be, it's an ad, it's an advertisement.
I would love to know what the budget was. Like, what did they pay the ad agency to do that? Like, how much did NZ Pork pay? Should I say their name? I won't say their name. The ad agency, just in case one day they want to cast me in an ad.
True.
So yeah, how much did NZ Pork pay this ad agency to sort of run this campaign? And the answer is it's got to be thousands. You don't get it. You don't get an ad agency for a couple of $100.
No.
It's a it's a $10,000 deal or something or more.
For sure.
So yeah. Still in two minds about that. Should probably chase him up or kick up a stink, or sick my agent onto them.
Yeah, I would. Now, I found something disturbing this morning, and I say this now looking at a rat trap that is sitting on your desk.
Yeah, there's literally surrounded by shit. Literally surrounded by shit.
On Harley's desk, his office, his place of work, right? He's got his computer. We've got our podcast, mic set up. Mm-hmm. And then there's just a mouse trap just sitting there with some cheese in it. It's set. He's planning to catch a mouse with that.
You can actually put your hand on that and hurt yourself. I actually put that... See, the problem is there's this mouse which comes in and he eats my candle. And he's been eating it. Like, look, see all this? Like, there's a big chunks missing from my candle. And I've got this candle art. I call it my candle art. Guy says it's creepy. I think it's cool.
Well, it's nothing.
It's my candle art, and it's all melted, and it's a big pile of wax.
It's just
melted.
Basically melted wax in the shape of how it melted.
Yeah,
that's not candle art, man. It's melted wax.
Interpretive wax art.
The wax is just melted, and you haven't cleaned it up. You call it art.
It's interpretive wax art, and I'll have you know that when you lift it up and look at the bottom, it looks very beautiful, but you can't see the bottom. And so anyway, this mouse has taken a liking to it,
right.
And he comes into my room. I hear him every night. He comes in and he munches up on my candle. He just eats it, and shits all over it. And I've cleaned his wee poos up quite a few times,
right.
But I've set this trap and I've left it here for a week now probably. And I've changed bait because it just wasn't working. Basically, he's too smart.
It looks like you've upgraded. You've got some expensive cheese in there.
I do. That's camembert, bro.
You had cheese, and then you upgraded the cheese. You thought the mouse might have a more sophisticated palate.
Well, I did upgrade but it was from peanut butter to camembert.
Oh, right.
And so I really thought that last night it would work. And I even, because I'm so clever, I even left a wee trail of cheese leading up to the trap.
Yep.
All the cheese is gone in the trail, and he just hasn't touched the cheese on the actual trap.
Right.
And
you only assume that trap smells like death.
Well, that's the thing. I think that what's happened is at some point in the past he's already set off one of these traps and had a miraculous escape and so now he knows the smell of that wood and metal and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, it's a trap. I'm not gonna it's a trap.
Yeah. It's a trap.
And so yeah, anyway, basically this mouse is too smart for me, and I've been really trying for a week to catch him, and he just keeps on coming in here, eating my candle and shitting all over my desk.
It's the classic Tom and Jerry tale. It's the classic Tom and Jerry tale.
Yeah.
Told through the ages.
I'm almost going to be sad when I catch him,
right?
Because I've developed a grudging respect.
How's Angie's respect?
Well, she's not very happy about it, about the whole mouse situation, the whole mouse in the bedroom situation. She's not really feeling it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting because I saw, a giant rat turd on the washing machine this morning.
Right,
giant. Now, this always scares me because, mice are kind of cute creatures. Whether or not they're very dirty and, just as bad, really, you know, rats are it's just the next stage, you know? Like, it's like if you got ants, right? Ants are fine, but then you get cockroaches and you're like, oh, shit. Shit just got real.
Yeah.
And this damn... I always just wonder, like, because you've just explained to me basically a smart mouse, really.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, because this rat shit was just on top of the washing machine. Why, if you're a rat, are you going to just take a big dump in a very obvious, notable place where you know humans are kind of doing things?
Yeah.
And because, you know, this is the same thing with that other rat took a big shit all over the kitchen, he shat all over the kitchen and the oven stove and that. And it was just like, why would you do that if you want to remain inconspicuous?
Yeah. I don't think they think
about where they're going to shit. Does the shit,
so much.
So
some animals do. I mean,
Well,
cats and dogs do, for example. They'll sort of shit and bury it or eat it or whatever.
But they seem like crafty, cagey animals.
Well,
you
they
know?
are.
Why do they not think their shits are inconspicuous? You know what I mean? It really baffles me. I've given it a lot of thought.
Yeah, clearly.
And what I'm worried about is this big shit. And what I'm worried is that there's obviously a rat, right?
Yeah.
And he's one of those big giant ones, like the giant rat that you caught earlier, because that was, you know, quite chilling to see that rat. He was big. He was bigger than normal rats. He had long hair, like way longer than normal rat hair, like, you know, like a bearded mountain warrior. Of rats, you know, like in Game of Thrones, you know, when they go across the wall. He was a wild man of rats.
A wildling.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm just worried that one of those guys is crawling about the place.
Yeah.
Because the place has been kept pretty clean since we got that cleaner.
Yeah.
So, you know, this rat.
I think the issue is that all the rats that are left, rats and mice and stuff that are left, they're all the smart ones. Because when I first started setting the traps, it was like bam, bam every night, you know? And basically, we culled the herd.
Yeah.
This is evolution in action.
Yeah.
We culled the herd, and now only the smartest and strongest are still alive.
Right.
And they're laughing in our fucking faces.
So by taking like just to leave a little present on top of the washing machine, like, you see that, buddy?
I'm still here.
I'm still eating your food.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so if anyone's got any rat tips, some rat or mice catching tips that don't involve just setting a trap with peanut butter or cheese, which we do.
Yeah, I'd like to know a better bait.
Yeah,
if
what's
anyone's
a good
got a better bait? And I don't want poison. I don't really want to use poison. Not really my cup of tea. You can't have poison lying around your house. You know?
Eco-friendly on the rats.
Yeah, well, exactly. But also, it's just not right. You can't have poison in your home.
Yeah.
Just lying around.
Yeah.
Also, like, what if Shelley's dog comes over?
Well, yeah.
Eats it, you know?
Yeah.
Or some other dog.
Keep an eye out on
Cat
that.
or something. Yeah.
Now, you know, we're talking about the internet, talking about your Facebook presence. And I read a very interesting article on a guy called Logan Paul. Do you know who Logan Paul is?
I don't.
Exactly. He's a Vine star, and his Vines get like millions of views. And he makes about, I think they said that he was sort of clearing like at least $500,000 to $1 million per year off his Vines, his sponsored Vines. Anyway, he's this 20-year-old kid. He just started doing these funny Vines. They blew up. And now he has this huge fan base, mainly of like teenage girls. And he's just moved to LA and he's trying to crack the big time because making $1 million a year is not and having millions of views on Vine is not the big time. And basically, the article went into to kind of describe these guys' lives, but basically they all live, ironically, on Vine Street, right?
Right.
In this luxury apartment complex, and it's got basically like the top 10 people on Vine all live in this area,
right?
In this apartment area, and they all do kind of each other's Vines, and they all kind of have a monopoly on Vine. So basically, the top 30 Vine people are, you know, making all the money, and no one out, and, you know, people are making up money, but they're mainly making the money. And he's one of these people, but he was saying that he wants to be, you know, the biggest entertainer in the world and all this stuff. But he's just a 20-year-old guy that makes stupid videos, stupid 6-second videos. And they were trying to sort of explore, like, why has no one ever really crossed over from the YouTube /Vine/internet world to like the greater entertainment industry and become like a real star, like a Tom Cruise or something like that. And they sort of, concluded that people will maybe like, doing something thinking up something funny and for 6 seconds, although creative and stuff is not the same as being entertaining over a extended period of time. And also, that idea of like, what is star presence, star quality? Like we see people on YouTube and stuff, and they can be just people like us. Whereas, movie stars, it doesn't mean they're super good looking or anything, but they have to have some type of hero quality about them that makes us want to watch them in a different way. So, we are straddling the line because we do heaps of stuff for the internet, but we also make films.
Yeah.
I would say the filmmaking is more the thing, and the content is more... heading towards that type of thing, as opposed to like, how can we be constantly doing these via or thing. But what do you think about Logan Paul, internet potential internet, but maybe never star, but really wanting to be?
Well, without having seen any of his stuff or knowing anything about him, I can't comment too much. But I tell you what, if we want to take over Vine, mate, all we need to do is blow up that apartment building on Vine Street, take out the top 30, man, and then there's a big fucking power vacuum, and we're going to fill it straight away.
That's right.
We can make a Vine of us setting the fucking dynamite, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, how about that? But I tell you what, I do think that we should... like the filmmaking stuff is obviously very important, but the issue with, a feature film is it takes 2 years to come out, or years, and Older is already at the 1.5 year mark or something like that, and realistically it's not coming out for another year.
Yep.
So that's,
well, yeah, maybe.
Let's keep it real. By the time it's edited, graded, all the post-production's done, and then the market's sold, and then it's marketed, and then it's out, we're talking at least 1 year from now.
If you count all those steps.
Which we do, because we're talking about putting something out.
Okay.
Then this film is realistically not going to be out for at least a year.
Yeah, sure.
If it was out in a year, I'd be surprised. Now, so with all that in mind, that means that...
If you'll excuse me, I just have to go and do some editing.
And so the problem with these feature films is that while they are a massive achievement, and while they do give us a million, or so much more street cred, amongst our peers than doing YouTube videos, the fact of the matter is it's a long time between drinks, That's
a good analogy.
And you really, it's just basically it's every 3 years you're putting something out, and so. The good thing about YouTube is, you can put something out once every couple of months or something like that. Or, if you go really hard and go full time, you could do something every week or whatever. Yep. But so yeah. And the other thing about it is that filmmaking, the creating of feature films, costs us a lot of money.
It sure does.
Whereas the YouTube videos can potentially make us a lot of money, fairly quickly. Million views. I don't know if we've told this to the listeners before, but 1 million views on YouTube is between 1,000 and 1,500 New Zealand dollars. If you've monetized that video, if you own all the rights to everything in it and you monetize it, that's between 1,000 and 1,500 bucks. So I mean that's pretty good cheddar, really. That's actually not bad. If you've got a video with 20 million views on it, you've got 20 G's. And that video might only be a couple of minutes long, and it might just be some skit that you've thought up. It doesn't have to be something phenomenal. It can be something simple and fun that you shot over the weekend.
Well, okay, but then do you not think? Because I do kind of agree with this. Like I've watched a couple of this guy's fights, and they're funny and they're quite creative, but they're also kind of a bit. Naff.
Yeah. To use a very naff word, they're a wee bit naff.
English.
Naff is so... I had never even heard that till I was like 25. And then I was like, what the fuck is naff? Some old guy said it to me. I was like, what the fuck is a naff? And then they were like...
But that's just...
it means uncool. And I was like, that is the uncoolest word for uncool that I've ever heard.
No, that makes you uncool for not knowing the word naff.
It's an old people word.
No,
though.
It's not an old people word. It's an English word.
Well... English words and old people words are one and the same.
Like a young person in England will use the word naff.
Yeah, but we're not in England. They also use like all sorts of weird words.
Like?
What's the crack?
Isn't that Irish?
Well, that might be Irish, but it's all the same. It's all the same shit, man. It's all the same shit. Either way, it's not relevant in our part of the world.
Well, anyway, so I don't think that I don't think that his stuff was, I thought it was good and creative and, some stuff was quite cool, but it was also a lesser form of entertainment.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Well, I agree that Vines are, for sure. It's 6 seconds long, 100%. That's a lesser form of entertainment designed for scatterbrained 14-year-old girls.
What about what about PewDiePie?
PewDiePie, is he the one that he's the gamer,
a YouTube
right?
guy.
He's a YouTube gamer.
Yeah.
I've only watched one of his videos, and it wasn't actually one of his gaming videos. It was a video about ask PewDiePie a question. And
I think he's making $3 million a year.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Well, this is what I'm saying though. I really think there is some merit to the idea of taking 3 months off work, right? Saving up enough money, taking 3 months off work, and working full time, 40 hours a week on YouTube, and just uploading twice a week to YouTube. So you do one skit a week, one scripted proper sketch, and the other thing would be like a behind the scenes or a vlog, something like that, right? So Monday vlog, Friday skit. Yeah. And you do that for 3 months, consistently, and just, really push the whole online thing and see where you are at the end of the 3 months. And I reckon, your subscribers and everything, your views, all of that stuff would have gone through the roof, and so would your earnings will have increased. Yeah. You might not be making, $1 million, but I think that you'd be starting to see some real money.
Right.
At the end of that 3 months. Because passively, we are earning sort of between, well, it really depends, between $30 and $100 a month.
Right.
Passively.
The big bucks.
Passively now. And that's just, and the issue is that our most popular videos
aren't monetized.
They're not monetized because we either don't own all the rights to them, or they've been flagged as adult content.
Because unlike New Zealand pork, we don't monetize things that we shouldn't.
That we don't own the rights to. And but anyway, we're just sitting there and we're passively earning, $30 a month or something like that. Yeah. Imagine if we were actually pushing it and really trying.
Well, I guess that leads us into I Survived the Zombie Holocaust feature film.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was a monumental day 4 days ago when I went on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been... Basically what happens with movies is they get pirated.
Yeah.
They get pirated the shit out of.
They do.
And we have been kind of lucky in that for a long period of time, for some reason in New Zealand and Australia, I just don't think that we're big... we're big pirators, but we're not big pirate makers.
Yeah, so it got released in New Zealand and Australia,
and we thought,
and nobody bothered to rip it and put it on a torrenting site.
And we kind of thought,
because we're all a bunch of good cunts.
Yeah,
maybe.
We're just decent guys.
Yeah. Maybe New Zealanders and Australians they recognise the artistic, value of the film industry.
Oh, I think they have. I just think they haven't noticed the monetary value in pirating yet.
Yeah.
But so basically what happens is, they become, these films become torrented. And so I've been sporadically checking, every now and again, okay, what about this week? What about this week? And each week I'd search in my torrenting browsing sites and come up with nothing.
Why do you have torrenting browsing sites?
For television, Harley. Not for movies.
Piracy's bad.
Never for movies. So anyway, but 4 days ago, and this, kind of coincides with our release in America, which makes sense because there's plenty of people that are quite happy to pirate things over there.
Yeah.
It was online, and there was a bunch of different torrents. I've just got to take a sip to make room for my next drink.
He's got to finish off his cider in order to make room for his Fireball whiskey.
And so,
it's lunchtime on a weekday.
and this did... I have work this evening.
So do I. I've got work in 2 hours.
And, so I... And I'm just going to... at the time that I checked it the first time, that was when it kind of hit its peak, right?
Yeah.
You know, and like a lot of people, it had about 12,000 people downloading it.
Really?
At that time.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
And that was when, like, basically what happens is in a torrenting site, you'll get this initial wave of like heaps of downloads and heaps of people seeding it, and then that wave will sort of peter out, and then if you look at something months down the track, we'll only have 100 people downloading it, and maybe 20-30 people seeding it, and so you hit this big peak volume, and so we had about 12,000 people, and that was just one. There's a few, so it was actually more than that. And then we also had and then I just checked today. Yeah. So I just checked before we went online on this podcast. Yeah. And we have 11,000 people downloading it, 437 people seeding it on one, and then 500 people downloading it on another link, and 220 people seeding it. Yeah. So the seed is someone that allows people to download it from them. Yeah. And a leech is someone who is downloading it. Yeah. And you leech off other leeches at the same time. But, it's sort of, so everyone's taking a little bit of data from someone else as you go.
So what does it all mean?
So what it means is a lot of fucking people pirated our film because, it takes approximately on the longest, on a good, like on our internet, take maybe 5 minutes to download. Yeah. And on, and that would be in America, it wouldn't be more than half an hour. Yeah. In any situation, more than half an hour. Any place with a fast internet, it's going to definitely not be more than half an hour. Yeah. Slow internet, maybe 2 hours max. Max. Slow connection, 2 hours. So when you look at it and it says 1,100 people, 1,500 people, that's only that for that half hour, 2 hours. Right. Then it's a whole bunch of other people.
So it's 1,100 people every half hour, or 11,000 people every half hour.
Yeah, if you really want to break it down. Yeah. So it's actually, astronomical. Yeah. And so I had this surreal experience of pirating my own film to check the quality of the pirate that everyone was pirating.
Yeah, and to see which version of the film
which version was. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's our old version. So
it's the not as good version.
It's the not as good version.
Though it's still very good, and you should go out and buy it.
Top drawer that everyone is pirating the shit out of. So... yeah, it's a little bit disappointing because if you speculate that so it's been it's like 1,000 or it was 12,000 people at its sort of peak influx over a 24-hour period, and then that's what 240,000 over a 24-hour period at that peak time, and now it's gone back down and. There's a lot of people, and if you go, oh, well, look, of course, most people aren't going to pay for it. They were just downloading it. You go, that's great, but let's just say that, like, a fraction of them did. That's actually huge. That's like 10,000 people. Yeah. And so, we are now the victims of internet piracy.
Yeah, well, I got a message from Adam St. John, DP for older. And he said that it's up on this particular website, which I guess I won't say which one it is because what's the point in encouraging
I guess so.
people to go there? I suppose. But it's up on a website anyway. And it had 1,100 seeders at the time and 485 leeches at that particular time. He said it's more popular than a lot of other zombie films on there. He said... now let me just see. It's doing better than Dead Rising, Watchtower, which is a zombie film too, with the douche from Desperate Housewives in it.
What is that guy's name? Jesse Metcalf or something?
Oh, that guy,
yeah. So that's right, Jesse. Yeah. Your Dead Rising Watchtower is not as good as Zombie Holocaust. A little old, not as good at being pirated as Zombie Holocaust.
No, and not just that, but he also said here, It's in the top. It was in the top 100 on Pirate Bay.
Oh, so that's big.
It's you're on the top 100 on Pirate Bay, and it's there twice. So there's two different versions of it, or two different pirators or seeders or whatever, hosts or whatever it is, putting it on there, and both versions are in the top 100 on Pirate Bay.
So currently, we are one of the most popular pirated films.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Yeah. So, fucking hell, like it's so annoying because it's like you can't. It's not just the finances, right? It's not just the money. Like, okay, that's a whole bunch of money that we're not getting, right? And I get that, and I can survive with that. It's a shame, but I'm not hugely motivated by the money anyway.
Sure.
So what's the big deal there? But what really bothers me is there's just no accountability. There's no way to tell how many people have seen it, and no way to see how many people have seen my face, how many people have appreciated it, how many people did laugh when they were meant to laugh and jump when they were meant to jump. There's just no feedback. It's nothing. Like a million people might have seen it, but it doesn't matter because as far as I'm aware, I haven't. There's no way to gauge that. No,
you can maybe assess to a degree how many people have ultimately downloaded it, but really the people that know that is Pirate Bay.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether we could hit them up and go, hey, can we just have some stats?
Yeah.
But also, it's all downloaded from a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
And, so it's all very hard to gauge. And that's right, is like people are not going to comment to you about that.
Well, a few people have.
Right.
There's been, a few people that have added me on Facebook and said, hey, I saw the film. And it's like, where'd you see it? And they're like, in Mexico or Chile or England.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we don't have any of those places. We don't have a deal in any of those places. So clearly you've pirated it. But, the thing is, I would much rather, if someone was going to pirate it, I would way rather them add me on Facebook and say, hey, cool film, bro, than just not mention it at all.
Yeah.
And
give us a like.
I'll forgive them for pirating me.
Stuff.
So if they then share the trailer on their Facebook or, do something to help us, because piracy is, we get it. It's out there. We can't stop it.
No.
But it would be great if these pirates would also support us at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we might have to, I know the guys at Wormwood started up a fund where they were just like, look, this film is like one of the most popular films, pirating wise, and we're not in charge of when it's released in these places. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
So when you're pissed off at us, don't be. It's had nothing to do with us. But if you do want to support us, here is a donation button.
Yeah.
You can donate through here. So if you watched it for free and liked it, just fucking just
give us $1.
Yeah. Just give us $1.
Well, here's an idea. Here's an angle maybe we should try to pitch to the journalists we know. Top 100 Pirate Bay, like New Zealand film, one of the most pirated films at the moment. Like kind of do that Wormwood angle.
Yeah. Well, look, it is possible that you could say that too about like quite a few bad films.
Right. Right.
So
but you don't tell that to the journalists, man. You give them the angle, not the fucking negatives to it. You tell them, awesome film, unavailable in heaps of regions, and in those regions, the fans are baying for blood. They just want it anyway, so they're just pirating the shit out of it. But give us a news story.
So look, guys, come on. If you want to help us, just actually pay for it. If you've downloaded already and you're like, you know what? I fucking like that. I did like it. It was cool. Then just get it on iTunes. Just pay for it to be hired on iTunes or something, or get it on DVD. Also, look, you can't listen to the commentary tracks on those pirated ones. I don't think.
Yeah.
I won't 100% say for sure.
There's 3 commentary tracks available exclusively on the DVD.
Very informative. Many hilarious anecdotes. Plus learning how to be a low-budget indie filmmaker. We got the tips of the trade. They're all in there. A trove of knowledge. So, just think about that. You bastards.
Yeah. It's pretty, it's...
Well, I guess what I don't like about it is, like, we talked about this site he's the main guy, this guy, right? This site. And
which guy? Which site?
Well, we weren't going to name his name, but we might as well name his name. Yiffy torrents, right?
Right. Okay.
So he or this person or this group of people, what they do is they rip a good quality and they put it online to download, and they do it super quick, they do it super fast, they beat most people to it, and so that becomes the one that everyone clicks on to download, because that's the other thing about pirating is like the less seeds you have, the slower it is. So it's all about first come, first serve. It's all about getting in quick with your piracy to make the most money. But that guy is making money from all those downloads. Yeah.
But what's the money? How's he making money? He's making money from the ads.
Yeah, he's monetized through the ads. Yeah. And so, like the pop-up ads, he'll be getting a fraction of that. And then so, obviously if the more downloads he gets, the more those ads pay him.
Yeah.
And he may also be getting it through providing the information of the people that are downloading, the info of the people that are downloading.
Selling people's information.
There's a lot of ways that he could be monetizing that, but I promise you this, he ain't doing it for free.
Yeah.
There's no, and so I guess what I find frustrating about piracy is not really that the consumer is getting it for free, but that the filmmaker is not making the money, and the pirater is making the money instead of the filmmaker.
Well, look, mate, isn't it obvious what we need to do?
Become
on the next film?
Pirates?
Well, no, pirate our own films first.
Yeah.
So we release it, but then we secretly get it up on Yiffy, and we're the ones doing, getting that monetization out of it. So we're making money from both versions of the film, the pirated and the non-pirated version.
Well, that's a good point, but I believe there has to be a certain structure in place that we don't.
We would need to set up
like a giant internet structure in place with high speeds and what have you, and servers and whatever the fuck else, and deep webs and stuff that are far beyond our comprehension. But that's a good point, and we should consider that.
We should consider pirating our own thing, leaking our own thing online to fuck the production and make a few bucks ourselves.
Now I did just had a couple of extra notes here. Well, are we going to debut our segment this week? A question segment.
Debut it?
Ladies love cool questions.
Well, we debuted it last week.
Well, we're going to re-debut it.
Well, I think that we should save out. We've got another question for the ladies.
Yep.
I reckon we'll save it for next week, though. But if you have a question for the ladies, at the moment we are still deciding the name. Ladies love cool questions, or wide open with Shelley and Angie, or a couple of cunts, perhaps.
You can vote on that as well.
You guys just let us know in the comments what we should call it. But anyway, basically it's a segment where you guys ask our girlfriends questions. So it can be questions about being our girlfriends, or it can just be questions for women in general. So yeah, we have a question for next week's episode. But if you've got any questions for us, please let us know on the Guy and Harley Facebook page. That's facebook.com/GuyandHarley, and just send us a question, and we will anonymously address it.
Yeah. Now, I did read a couple of things, but I thought this one was interesting. Just back to being fucking broke. The pilot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia cost $200.
Right.
And the creator, one of the creators, Rob McElhenney, so I don't really know how to pronounce that. He's a creator. He didn't quit his waiter job until season 2.
Right.
Think about that. He was on a TV show and he's like, don't know if we're going to keep going with this, so I better just not
quit my job.
Exactly, not count my chickens.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting. Thought that was pretty cool. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, great TV show. I recommend it. I've kind of lost track because they've done so many seasons now, but the sort of first 5 seasons are gold.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah, I like it too. I like it as well. And I remember it was part of the inspiration for shooting ×3, I believe, which was our very first sitcom that we shot when we were like 23 or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, we shot it, and Always Sunny in Philadelphia was kind of one of the inspirations for it.
Absolutely.
And
we're like, holy shit, we'll do this thing. We'll shoot a pilot for cheap, and it will prove that we're really funny and amazing, and people will give us money, and we'll make a TV show. The first part of that happened.
Well, yeah, it did. That was a pretty massive success. Basically, we shot this thing. It was called ×3. It was set in our flat, and it was just people talking, lots of jokes.
Yep.
And then we pitched it out to all the production companies, and a whole bunch of them wanted it. They all gagging for it.
Yep.
And then there was a big bidding war between two major production companies.
Very, very low stakes bidding war.
Well, they were bidding.
Very little money involved.
They were bidding against each other, and we had to choose which one we were going to go with.
Sophie's choice. We didn't know what to do. It was like, do we pick this? Do we pick that? But the reason that
we picked wrong.
No, we picked right, because ultimately the fundamental reason that we picked the one we picked was because they would let us be in it.
Yeah.
And the other one did not want us to be in it.
Yeah.
And the whole point was that we were going to be in it.
Yeah. Yeah, but, well, I don't recall that. I recall it more being they both agreed to let us be in it, but one of them was a lot more proactive about it and a lot more wanted to
I was
make
like,
it happen.
Nah, one of them was like, we'll develop this, we really like it, we really love it. And then I was like, yeah, and we're going to be in it. And they're like, well, no, I mean, probably not. And I was like, oh, okay. So we'd be more just developing it. They'd be like, yeah, we'll be developing it. We really love the idea. But, we probably, you wouldn't be in it. And the other one were like, yeah, of course you'd be in it. You shot the thing. And that, to me, was the real deciding factor. Do you not remember that?
Well, no, because I remember that we said, we had problems with the company that we said no to.
Yeah, but...
And the reason why we said no to them was not because we had a good reason, which was, you don't want us to be in it, so sorry, see you later, mate, which would have been completely fair enough, and they would have understood that.
No, that's one of the things I said.
The problem was that they thought that we were going to go with them, and they were offering a very similar deal to the other company, but the other company was just a little bit more proactive about it and a bit more keen, and they wanted to option it for 6 months instead of a year, and all that sort of stuff.
No, that wasn't the case at all. They had specifically said that we weren't going to be in it. Well, then
they can't get upset when we say no.
Well, that's what I said to them when they were upset, but that didn't stop them from being upset. I mean, that was one of my points that I made, was like, you said that you guys didn't want us in it, and we wanted to be in it.
Yeah.
So what would you expect us to do? And they were like, we expect you to take the person that made the first offer.
Yeah. Even though
it's not as good for you.
And you haven't agreed to the offer, they've just made the offer first. But so, basically... Two companies wanted it. One of them offered a better deal, and we went with that company. And then the other company got angry and kind of put us on a bit of a blacklist for a while.
Yep.
So we had a big production company blacklisting us, and then that person that ran that production company went on to become a very authoritative figure in the news, a very, very authoritative figure.
Some might say one of the biggest
in the New Zealand film industry. So, that was something that happened to us 23 years ago. and I'm sorry, I mean, when we were 23. And then, but basically, so we went with this other company, and they flew us up here to Auckland from Wellington, and they shot our pilot episode again, and it just didn't really turn out that great. It was a bit of a shit fest.
Yeah,
it was mishandled. It was not really. They didn't take the
into
care.
They didn't take the care or the time or spend the money or resources to get what they could have out of it.
Yeah, and we were not. Now we were not exactly at the top of our game either. As far as acting or writing and all that stuff.
Well, no, because we've been flown up on a red eye.
Yeah.
We've been flown up on a red eye flight to shoot 17 pages over a day and a quarter.
Yeah.
Which, if you know, there's a rule in filmmaking and in TV, and it's a bit more in TV, to be honest, but you normally try and do 5 pages a day. 5 pages a day of anything is a lot to shoot.
They flew us up. So this is a big New Zealand production company. They flew us up on this real super early flight, and then or super late, can't remember. And then we got here into Auckland, and then they were like, so where are you guys staying? and we didn't have any accommodation.
Yeah.
They'd flown us up to Auckland, but not accommodated us. And luckily, a good friend of mine, Wade,
we managed to sleep on his floor. Right?
We had a room, because what happened was
we had beds.
Yeah, we had beds. What happened was Wade had was staying in sort of running a halfway house out in South Auckland, and it was kind of like, it was like a religious sort of, like a halfway house thing, and he was running it, and at the time there was like nobody in it for whatever reason, and it was quite a nice little spot, and so we got one of the rooms, but it was like 3 of us in one room, and we got to stay there, and then in the morning we were like, how are we getting to set? Yeah, because we must have flown really late at night, and then in the morning it was like, how are we getting to set? And there was no transport provided, so we text or called the lady, the production assistant or manager or whatever, and it was like, how are we getting to set? And she was like, oh, you haven't got something sorted? Oh, well, I guess we'll get you a taxi then.
It's like it's like at that time we know no one up here really. We don't know Auckland at all. We're
in South Auckland.
We
of all
don't
places.
have any we don't. We can't drive or anything. We don't have a vehicle. We've got nothing. And that was the second day. But we were flew up on the red eye and then acted that day.
Right.
That we went up. So that was the second day afterwards, say that night. So, yeah, it was a bit of a
debacle.
It was a bit of a debacle, but it was just a classic thing of trying to do something very cheaply with very little effort, hoping for the result of not those things.
Yeah.
Hoping for a result of something high quality to come out of that.
Yeah.
And, that just does not really, especially in filmmaking, that really never happens. You can do something cheaply, but then you got to take your time with it.
Yeah.
It's the 3 rules. It's the triangle. It was cheap, fast, and something else.
Good.
Yeah, cheap, fast, and good.
Pick
Have 2.
Yeah.
And you really can have 2, but you can't have them all.
Yeah.
I will say, at the time I was quite devastated how it all turned out, obviously, because we thought at one stage we'd have a TV show.
Yeah.
But we weren't ready for a TV show.
Well, I think we could have been ready. I think that we could have learnt those lessons and we could have... it could have worked out for us, but I do think that we had a lot to learn. Our acting, was not good, and it's not. You can't blame the red eye.
Well, have you looked at our acting in the pilot was not good, but have you looked at our pilot episode recently?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that bad.
It's not horrible. It's not horrible, but it's not national TV worthy. We were
Probably
these
not.
couple of untrained amateurs, who
bumbling around,
thought they were good,
thought we were fucking
but in
Brando
reality,
and Olivia.
At that period in our lives, we literally had acted in nothing that wasn't a Pigville thing either. You know, since then we've both gone on to act in various other things.
Yeah.
But back then it was literally just Pigville stuff. And we just that was the biggest thing at the time. That was the biggest thing I'd ever acted in, and it was probably the first time I'd really acted in someone else's anything.
Well, see, for what I learned though is that I learned how much editing matters, and how important it is to really sort of take your time with the edit and stuff like that. But I also learned because we had a very prestigious director directing that thing, and I think they spent all their money on him and basically had no money for anything else, which created a bit of a problem because that's not how you should structure, especially on a TV show, because the director is not quite as important on a TV show, I don't think. But anyway, but I guess what I learned from all of that stuff is a director is just a director. It doesn't matter if you've done 30 years of directing or you've done fuck all years of directing. Your job is still the same. And what is most important about directing is having a very solid understanding of the material, having a very, very firm grasp of the material and the vision for that material. It's not necessarily, what you've done before that point, because I still maintain that I could have done a better job directing that pilot. And so it was a real good lesson. And that was what someone else said as well, when they're doing these talks, these filmmaking talks, and he'd been a first assistant director to all these great directors. And he was like, look, everyone says Woody Allen is a genius, but I've been with him on set and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just fucking winging it like everyone else. He is put up on this level, but he's actually, he is just a guy directing. You will just be a guy directing. It's all about your understanding of the material. It's all about how you approach it and being able to do that effectively. And I think so that was really valuable for me because I guess I thought, like, when I started that, I was like, oh man, I'm going to sit under the learning tree and he's going to tell me all this stuff and he's just going to blow my fucking mind. Like, my mind is going to be blown wide open with these revelations of how to direct. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, so he pretty much does the same thing I do.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, good. Right. So that's what I learned. And so, you know, it was sort of like a big thing is like, we're all just directed, but the director is not this magical, mythical figure on a pedestal, like necessarily doing anything that different to what you would be. You just got to have the confidence and, yeah, mainly that explicit understanding of the material to execute it well. And I think that's what's really key.
And you think that they didn't have an explicit understanding of our material / didn't give a shit about it?
But a little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was a real shame because it was really pretty depressing because basically we went from, you know, couple of guys came up with a concept, shot it, sent it out, and
busted our ass.
All of these people wanted it. All of these big companies wanted it.
Well, also, I think something that also is quite important to note is that I wrote the entire first series.
Yeah.
So we wrote the entire series.
All episodes.
So I which was only 7 episodes. So it was not meant to be, it wasn't 12 or 24 episodes. This was 6 or 7 episodes. But it's still, that's a lot of writing. And so, you know, we wrote that, or I wrote that, and Harley gave me some notes.
That's how it's what I do.
But that is obviously important. But, like, you know, there's so much work involved in that. We shot the pilot, so much work involved in that. We did all that, and the whole idea was to create a scenario where it's like, look, here's us acting and being funny, so you know we can do that. Here's us have written all these episodes, so you know that we're not these kind of one-hit guys that just wrote one funny thing, but we're actually retarded and can't actually, you know, write a series. Like, here we go, here's the series. You can see the whole thing, you can imagine it, you can picture it, you know. So this is meant to, I guess, squash any questions about whether we can do this show. And then, and so you can trust us, basically. But actually what happened is they didn't trust us.
Well, they didn't, but...
And, you know,
probably rightly so, because we were a couple of inexperienced...
Partly rightfully so that they didn't trust us.
But so anyway, it was very depressing because we went from being these two young guys had moved up to Wellington, right, from Dunedin, you know, looking to make it big in the industry, and, you know, we had shot this thing and we'd sent it out and everyone wanted it.
It seemed like the fairy tale.
Yeah, everyone wanted it, and you know, these big companies wanted it. We're getting flown up to Auckland to work with this prestigious director, and you know, and then so it all happened, right, and then finally they sent us back the finished product and we watched it, and two things were wrong with it. One was that it just wasn't, you know, there's heaps of things wrong with it. Yeah. two was that the pilot consisted of 2 different skits. Yeah. And the audio guy had fucked up the audio on the entire scene for one of the skits, kind of thing. Yep. So and that was the more clever one of the two. So one of them was a very toilet humory one was a more of a dialogue heavy, like cleverish kind of one, you know, or theoretically. And so basically, you know, they fucked up the, you know, sort of the one that showed it could be slightly more intelligent and funny, and we're stuck just with the toilet humor one. And then so it wasn't even that bad. The audio wasn't that bad, but they had decided to just not submit that one and just submit the other part. So it kind of didn't really represent the show properly either. No. And then so basically we weren't that happy with it, and then it got sent out to the networks. The networks said that we were like very lukewarm on it, and said they wanted something with music in it because at the time Flight of the Conchords was really huge in America, and they were kicking themselves because they had rejected Flight of the Conchords. Yeah. And then so and that kind of led to some writing work for Guy where he had to sort of force in some music into this concept and try and make it a bit musical. But anyway, you know, so at the end of it all, we had this product that we weren't really happy with. The networks had said no. We've made an enemy of you know, one of the sort of the big members of the, you know, New Zealand filmmaking scene, and as a result we hadn't just had a disagreement with this guy. He'd put us on this blacklist, and we stopped getting auditions because at the time he was balling the one of the main casting agents in Wellington at the time. So because of that, we got put on this blacklist. And so we weren't getting auditions. Our show had been shit on. Our show had come out, not gone anywhere, been kind of shit. And then we sort of lost contact with all of the people that we had worked with to get that show going as well. And so basically we went from being square zero to square -1. You know?
Yeah. Classic industry tale.
Yeah. And it's taken us 10 years to recover from that.
Well, you know, like, there's the thing, though, because if we had been doing that show, we probably wouldn't have applied for the zombie film, you know? So you got to take the, you know...
What do you mean? We wouldn't have applied for it if that had never happened?
No.
Or they wouldn't have given us a chance if we hadn't done that?
Or had we been doing the TV show, we would not...
You mean if the show got picked up?
Yeah, the show... So had we been successful, which we weren't, and the show got picked up, we would have never submitted the feature film I Survived.
That was so many years later, though. Who knows what might have happened?
It wasn't.
It's a big speculation.
It wasn't. It was 2 years later. So it wasn't that much later at all. You know, all those times just get condensed in your head, but it's or elongated in your head, perhaps. But
no, we were 23 when we did ×3, and we were 20. I was on the cruise ship when we applied for Zombie Holocaust, and I was 27 then.
Yeah, but I'd done that, like, I'd written the treatment for I Survived Zombie Holocaust at 26, and, you know, started all that stuff.
But we might have got a season, you know, and got it on TV, and it was okay, but it didn't get a second season, but it was still a big feather in our cap, and some people knew our name, and we had some connections, you know, and then life continued, you know? You can't really tell.
Yeah, but I don't really think that, you know, that's still adding 2 years, you know, from development to creation to production to output, that I think that would have well and truly run into the first escalator initiative, and therefore I would have never just had the time to write the treatment to set it all up. So I actually see those, so like, you know, we learned some good lessons. Some good lessons were learnt. And that did lead to, and I do think that I wouldn't have, because I also wouldn't have been working with the same people. I wouldn't be working with Zoe in Dunedin. I wouldn't have been in Dunedin. And so all of the things that, you know, kind of led to the zombie film coming about wouldn't have happened. And so I do think, like, what would you prefer to be 23? 24, probably 24, have your own TV show, creators of your own TV show, or 33, director of your first feature film that's just been pirated the crap out of.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation there, and a lot of ifs and buts and maybes, and you know, I just don't know if which one I'd prefer. I really feel like, you know, perhaps both could have happened.
Yeah, see, I'm 100% sure the zombie film wouldn't have happened. You know, maybe another film might have happened.
But also, you know, by the same token, you know, like, maybe that show would have led to a different project, you know, like it might have been a different feature film, but it was, you know, the goal was still to shoot feature films, whether or not we shot that TV show or not.
I guess that's the thing, though, is, like, I kind of feel like what might have happened is we might have... It all depends on how much control we had of the show, to be honest. But just assuming that we didn't have that much control of the show, and it came out and really sucked, we would be even more blacklisted. And then it would be like, oh yeah, you guys, you know, the makers and stars of that terrible TV show that we all hated, and think you're the reason why we would question if there's any talent in New Zealand anymore.
Who knows? This is all speculation.
It is all speculation, but I just think that in terms
you have to have some faith that we would have put out a good product.
Well, I guess I have less faith because I don't think that I started writing really well until about 26, and that was when I was about 23, and so I even, like, you know, even my editing and stuff like that didn't really evolve till we started getting into doing our web series based on all these events, the project. And so, you know, all of that was a steep learning curve that I may not have had we been successful. Okay, well,
I think that draws the podcast to a close, but if you guys, two things actually. I wanted to just have a quick brag that I've been put on the short. I've got a callback.
Do you want to say that? This is a bit early to say that.
Well, I've got a callback for an audition.
Oh, good for you. And how was it? I hope it was fucking good because it's useless now, isn't it? Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur.
And
That's what I'm
I
saying.
had also an audition, and I did not get a callback for it.
Have you heard? Do you know that?
Yeah, because they were doing callbacks
Right.
on Friday or something.
Right, you didn't get it.
whatever. Or yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday. Day before. Yesterday.
Sometime, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I had an audition, and I've got a callback on Monday, which is tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Sunday, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm feeling good.
I think you've got a good shot.
I'm feeling good. So, yeah, anyway, if you would like to hear more about what happened with our sitcom and all that stuff, we actually documented it in a mockumentary, and it stands up. We shot it 6 years ago or 7 years ago or something, I don't know. And it was a mockumentary parodying everything that happened with our making of our sitcom.
Yeah.
And we sort of, it's 9 episodes.
Yep.
And it's on YouTube, and it's called The Project. So if you look up Pigville on YouTube, you can find our channel there, and you can find The Project, and it's a 9-part web series, and I think it's well worth a watch. And it's got basically everything in it is kind of in one way or another based on sort of some nugget of truth.
Some element of truth.
Yeah, some kernel of truth there. And so, yeah, check it out if you get the chance. The Project, Pigville.
Yeah. The only project that we stand by pre 16:9 aspect ratio.
Yeah. Oh, that's not true. What about The Heat and Eat?
I guess, yeah.
I stand by The Heat and Eat.
Well, also the Hobbit films. Oh, no, were they?
They were 4x3.
Yeah, they were 4x3.
Yeah.
The Hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we've got a few good ones. But yeah, so anyway, thank you very much for listening. Make sure you give us your questions for next week at facebook.com/GuyAndHarley. Also, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Search Pigville, and you'll find us there. It's youtube.com/Pigville2 is the URL there. And add me on Facebook, Harley Neville. If you haven't done that yet, please add me because I want to know you more.
And I'm not on Facebook.
But you can add Guy at GPZ on Twitter.
Which is GPIZZEY.
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.